This is Terry. Welcome back to my channel. I'm in back-to-back meetings this afternoon, so we're kind of squeezing this in on Friday afternoon. And as much as I'd like Ray to be able to chime in, Ray is being silent all day long. And let me make sure I phrase this correctly because Ray can't correct me. And it's basically to acknowledge and stand up for the LGBTQ plus people who were silenced in our society, ish. So it only took me until 2 o'clock to realize that that's why Ray wasn't talking and Ray was miming. So no snarky comments from Ray today. I'd like to say that gives me free reign, but since Ray does the editing, that's actually... Ray will go ahead and edit out the things that Ray doesn't want. So anyway, it's been sunny here this week. We've had some good weather. It's been breezy. It's been lovely to do yoga in our backyard, and I feel incredibly fortunate to have this good weather. It's making me really jones to get out on the tennis court, but unfortunately we're not quite there yet. I did send a note to my tennis pro going, hey, do you have access to any courts? And he's like, nope, but he'll let me know as soon as they're available, because there are actually rules around how we could potentially play tennis, or as long as I'm not touching the balls or anything else, then I could potentially get out and hit, which would feel really good. So in the meantime, I'm just doing my daily 20 to 30 minutes of yoga, which I'm dressed for now, and getting out on the treadmill for 30 minutes at some point. That might be with a cocktail later on, largely because I only have so much time. Although we did get our first kind of oceans to table box, and we have some fish and some other fruits and vegetables and some beautiful bread from Santa Cruz. And I don't know if Ray was planning on helping me cook, but we're going to do kind of a... what is it, the chef's, one of those kitchen chef things where you take a box and then you kind of make do with what's in there and be as creative as possible. That's going to be interesting to do if Ray is not verbally communicating, if we're going to try to work together on that. And one of the things, I talked to my friend Amen in Paris, I talked to my friend Christy in Nicaragua this week, I just talked to my friend David who's over in Oakland, California on the other side of the bay. I talk to him weekly. And one of the things that we are all feeling right now is glimmers of hope. We feel like we settled into a routine. We were stuck in whatever it was for the 4 to 5 weeks that we've been sheltering in place. And now we're all kind of coming out of it and saying, okay, now what's next? What can we do? We don't feel as paralyzed as I think a number of us were for a good 4 to 5 weeks, and I think we're all feeling a little bit better because of that. We're starting to see movement. 4 contracts came through, and I got those signed this week, so I'm starting to see some movement on the client work. I think other people are starting to see some movement where people are finally responding to emails, scheduling meetings, virtual meetings, and thinking about what's next. And I think that's a good thing. One of the reasons why last week I think I had such a hard time is I finally found a rhythm. We finally figured out how to operate in this. And then Governor Gavin Newsom came out with, well, here's how we can come out of it. And it sounded so completely different from what our world used to be that I was like, I can only handle so much change at one time. And so I haven't paid attention to what he's been talking about this week. My husband Zeke has, and I don't see us opening up here in California anytime soon. I think I just saw Michigan extended to the end of May. Maybe that was one of the states did. So I'm expecting that we're still going to be sheltering in place through the end of May, even though we're starting to see some other healthcare stuff open up. But we are going to continue with this rhythm for the next couple of weeks. Adam and Sophie should be done with classes by the middle of May. And Ray goes through the first week of June. And then I don't know what it's going to look like. In my conversation with the men the other day, we were talking about how some good stuff has happened, but we've been discounting it. For example, Piloting Your Life won the Silver Award in Aging Consciously for the Nautilus Book Awards. And I was like, no big deal. I did mention it in, I think, my newsletter on Tuesday, and then maybe the YouTube episode on Tuesday. But it was really kind of in passing. It wasn't like, ooh, what a big deal. I mean, I really discounted it. And when I was talking to Amen has been interviewed for a prestigious either magazine or media outlet. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. Congratulations. And she's like, yeah. And one of the things that we realized during that conversation is, in the context of everything else that's going on in the world, it feels very small and insignificant. But in talking with my friend Christy, who's in Nicaragua later on that same day, she reminded me that we need to know that good things are still happening. And so while some of us might be doing the comparative suffering type of thing, comparing this like, well, my stuff might be bad, but it's not nearly as bad as other people who are suffering greater, whether it's financial hardship or people dying or illness or, you know, all of the massive separations that, you know, we aren't necessarily experiencing. If we're downplaying our suffering, we are also downplaying the good stuff that's happening. And I think both of those are bad. We need to recognize and acknowledge that what we're experiencing is uncomfortable, it's not normal, and we can feel shitty. We can. And just because our situation isn't as shitty as somebody else's doesn't mean it isn't in the context of our own world. At the same time, when good things happen, even though they may feel insignificant and small, there's still good things that are happening, and we should be celebrating those. And the ironic thing was, in that conversation with Emen and then also with Christy, is April is #toastthewins. And so every day we're supposed to find something to celebrate, little or big. And so I was like, duh, I'm not even following my own challenge, which I thought was totally ironic. And I had to remember that we still need to toast those wins. So I'm celebrating that I got the silver award in Aging Consciously. Apparently, I thought it was all supposed to be announced by the other day or today, I don't know, but I don't care. I'm not keeping it quiet. I'm gonna toast that win. And then next Friday, hopefully I'll know about 2 other awards, and I know I'm getting at least silver, and you know what? That's pretty damn good. I'm not downplaying it, going, well, maybe there are only 2 books that were, oh. God, I can't wait until, well, am I gonna regret saying I can't wait until you talk again? But you have other ways of communicating. So anyway, were there 2 books that were submitted? Were there 2,000 books that were submitted? And I just don't know. And I'm just gonna say, you know what? I am not gonna try to downplay or discount it. A win is a win, and an acknowledgement is an acknowledgement, even though the whole book award thing is a total racket because you have to pay to get submitted, and then you have to send in free copies of the book. But, you know, once again, I'm downplaying something that is part of the game. On a related note, I had enough energy and interest that I actively started researching for my next book. The working title is Piloting with Power, but I know that's going to change. I've created a Pinterest board with a bunch of sections to capture some of my research, to capture images of women, powerful women quotes, inspiring women quotes, and then also images of women in power, historical women in power or historically powerful women, and then also some less known women who I'm interviewing. So go check out, link in the description, the Pinterest page with a lot of this, because I put out a whole bunch of books and I'm starting to put some articles out there. And I didn't do this with the first book, and so it'll be really interesting to see, because I'm kind of showing the sausage making behind the research of the book, which I wish you could tell me why that's so funny, Ray, but we're just gonna get that you're giggling. So that's been kind of fun. I mean, this morning I did a shout out to social media saying, hey, let me know the women that you admire and why. And then I've been able to add them to the list and categorize them in each of these sections. What am I going to do with it? I don't know. I did the first interview with the founder and CEO, co-founder and CEO of one of my portfolio companies, Marlowe. I interviewed Mary Fox for the book and got some interesting ideas. I'm also watching the show Mrs. America, which is frustrating and infuriating. And how the hell did I not know who Phyllis Schlafly was? How did I not know who Shirley Chisholm was? It's embarrassing what what I don't know about the Equal Rights Amendment, the ERA, the early feminist women's movement in the 70s. But I'm reading the book Good and Mad by Rebecca Traister, and I'm actually getting educated not only on that time, but why it is that perhaps I was socialized to reject the feminist movement. And so it's been a very educational and very interesting week, and got a lot going on in my head. And while I'm great at organizing chaos, and I'm great at getting things in order, and it's very uncomfortable for me to be in this I don't know where this is going phase. I've got my executive coach, Bev, on my shoulder just saying, stay in the process. And what's really good about that is I know I've been through this before, so I know that I can do it again. And it's just a matter of just going through and reading and watching. I'm watching YouTube videos, in addition to watching Mrs. America, and I'm trying to find more feminist, powerful women type movies and calling that research in order to support what it is that I'm doing, which, it's exciting. So maybe I'll do some blog posts, maybe I'll do some more social media posts. I don't know. It'll unfold, but next week I need to do some client work. So I'm going to have to be a little schizo with half my brain in my technical world and then half my brain in my creative world. So it's a good opportunity for growth and change. So I'd ask Ray if there's anything else, but Ray is not going to say, and Ray is shaking their head. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're doing okay. Thank you so much for subscribing. I'm up to 60 subscribers. Woo! And I'm pretty excited about that. But make it 61, make it 65. Come on, let's try to hit 100 in the next couple of weeks. My friend Men said she watched the videos and said it was like caramel for the soul. And another person said that for some reason, my voice is soothing and inspiring at the same time, which is very different from what other people think when they say Ray's laughing over here, screechy, annoying, da da da. But I know. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And as I say every week, and screw it up, let go of perfection, take some risks, and above all else, have some fun.